Trade-based money laundering. In this video, we will discuss what exactly is trade-based money laundering and what are the various ways how which it is done. If you are watching this video for the first time, I would like to inform you that I have done a detailed video series in financial crime. So in case if you are preparing for ACMS exams or trying to go for an interview for any financial institutions, I suggest you have a look at the whole series. In case if you haven't hit the like button, don't forget to hit the like button. With this, let me start the session for today. So trade-based money laundering is very simple words. It is using legal trade in order to transfer money which was obtained by illicit means. You are basically using simple trade transactions which are legitimate, which are legal, but by using such trade transactions, you are trying to launder, you are actually laundering money from one place to another, and which can often further be used for terrorist activities. Let me quickly read out the definition and the definition for that. So basically it's a process of disguising the proceeds of crime and moving value using trade transactions to legitimize their illicit means. तो disguising the proceeds of crime, जो crime के जो proceeds हैं उनको disguise करना और एक जगह से दूसरी जगह from shifting from one place to another using legitimate trade transaction in order to disguise their illicit origins. In simple words, it is that. Let me read out two more important lines. It involves the exploitation of international trade system for the purpose of transferring value, hiding the true origins of the illicit wealth. Schemes may vary in complexity, but typically it involves misrepresentation of the price. It can be misrepresentation of the quantity exported and imported. So whatever is being exported or imported, it can be a misrepresentation of the price or the quantity, right? As simple as that. So that is how it happens. And let us now, actually let me give you an example for that. It's better that I first go through the various ways how it happens, and then in every way I'll give you one example each. I think that would be slightly better. So the first way is false reporting or invoicing, such as commodity misclassification, commodity over or under valuation. False reporting, invoices such as commodity misclassification, commodity over or under valuation, commodity की over या under valuation करना. Let's take an example. A is sending apples to B, right? So apples में की जगह जो है वो apples के boxes हैं, same size, same weight, same description, but instead of apples, A is actually sending drugs to B. So that can be one way of doing this, in which he's actually using his business in order to send one thing to the other in the same boxes. That is one example of it. Another example of it could be that A is a legitimate trader of apples. So he is sending apples from A to B worth 15 lakhs. सब इसमें आपने point notice किया होगा, false reporting or invoices, commodity over and under valuation. So over under valuation, which means that the value of the apples could be somewhere around 7 lakhs, but the invoice can be made for 15 lakhs. So A will send it to B and invoice will be made for 15 lakhs. So B will send the money to A, 15 lakhs का amount उसको दिखाएगा that he's got money for the apples, but in actually his all costs and all profit including the selling of the apples would be 7 lakhs. So A will keep 7 lakhs, keep his commission and send the remaining money, which is actually not money, to the person whoever has hired A to do that activity, right? So that actually happens in that. Let me give you another example. Now A is also a trader of something else. A is also sending I think apples. So let's take the example of A has a trade of apples and iron, right? So it is possible that some trade routes are shorter. If you are sending food from one place to another, the trade route for that is shorter and you get permissions quickly. So what actually A will do is कि वो apples की permission लेगा and instead in apples he'll send something else or similar things. So these things often also happen that the launderers actually take the permission of the trade routes which are faster and simpler, because some things are a bit difficult and complex and it takes time, and the trade route of it is longer. Because see, Apple from one place to another अगर जाने होंगे तो obviously बात है कि the trade route for that would be the shortest possible, and if there is something else so that the trader is not so busy. It is possible that it could be, from a different route. So that is what also people do. Let's have a look at the second point. The second point would be repeated importation and exportation of the same high value commodity. This process is called carousel transactions. इसमें basically ये होता है that repeated importation and exportation of the same high value commodity, and this is actually called carousel transactions. So what could happen in this is that firstly A is sending apples to B, right? A is sending apples to B worth, it is showing the invoice as 5 lakhs, right? But actually the value of apples is 2 lakhs. So, or let's assume it is 5 lakhs. So it could be 2 or 5 lakhs. So A sends apples of worth maybe 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs to B. Now B says, Kisi, I don't like half of it are rotten, so I want to return them. So then I also want a refund of my 2.5 lakhs that I just gave you. So what has happened is that apples की जो value थी वो उसके पास आ गई है, but then he's again saying that I want to refund money. So he will tell A to send that refunded money to back, and A will actually send that money maybe to the account from which a terrorist activity might take place. तो वो उस पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट को रिफंड कर देगा, एंड इट इज पॉसिबल कि वो एप्पल्स भेजे ही ना वापस, बट फेक करके वो करे किसी आई वांट अ रिफंड ऑफ सो एंड सो बिकॉज दे आर रॉटन. So that also can happen. Both examples, it is possible that 5 lakhs के apples हैं and 2.5 lakhs का refund has been claimed. That also can happen. Another example is apples value is only 2 lakhs and he's charged 5 lakhs, and still he's then saying that, see, I want refund 50%. So then 2.5 lakhs are also sent from here to wherever. So in this case, both things are happening, the first one and the second one together. So carousel transaction is when both these things, when you are actually refunding an amount which may not be legitimate. Let's go to the third example is commodity being traded that do not match the business model. Now A does not have an apple business. A has a business of clothes, and he's let's take the example of B in this case because B was the one who's always importing. So let's take B. B has a trade of clothes and he's into clothes, garments and all. Now he's continuously importing apples from Switzerland. What's the logic? So in this we will see that the business model does not match because he does not need so many apples. I mean, why is he continuously ordering boxes and boxes and boxes of apples? So this might raise suspicion and can be one of the red flags that you might get. Please keep that in mind. Next point. Shell companies or offshore companies. Now for shell companies, I will try to make a separate video in which I will tell you how they operate, what is exactly defined by shell companies and all those things. So I will try to make a video on that, and it might be visible to you in the I button after it's made or in the description below. But as of now, let's quickly discuss what happens in this situation is that companies that do not have any physical presence are often created, and it is not illegal. Creating them is not illegal. However, they are very less regulated in the absence of physical presence, paperwork, etc. It is very difficult to track the location and identity of the sponsor. Sponsor मतलब जो भी उसको funds भेजता है, the person who's sending funds to that company. So it is difficult to locate brand or directions and any other person involved in the company. This gives the criminals a lot of opportunities to be that anonymous donor. So the criminal can get an opportunity to be that anonymous donor for the purpose of laundering money. So that's how shell companies are used in order to launder money. Moving on to the fourth point, illicit cash integration. This cash integration, how it happens in the system, that we have already discussed in the first video. In case if you have not seen that, please have a look at that. How money is actually laundered from one place to another, what the stages of money laundering, and that way, if you have a look at that, you know what illicit cash integration means. So any illegitimate cash received which they want to integrate into the financial system. For example, X has obtained illegal money from drug trafficking. So now he wants to put that money into white, so into the financial system. So make black into white. So that is actually called illicit transaction, which is slowly depositing into accounts created by others. So slowly depositing money in various accounts and then sending all that money to one particular account, or vice versa, depositing money together and sending it to others. So this is actually called layering and is a part of illicit cash integration, which often happens in trade-based money laundering. So I think that is all for this. That was a short and simple topic. If you have any questions, don't forget to let me know down in the comments below. And we will talk about money laundering risks of e-commerce in the next video. So that would be all. Thank you so much for watching, and in case if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.